ban for Nightmare.
I actually think that's a concern for me. The hazard going this early is something that you don't want to see, because you want to save the hazard ban in a counter to when that eventual support protect comes in for like a Circuit Royale or a King's or a Dorado or something like that. You know GK eventually is going to play Life Weaver BAP, and when that comes through, you want to make sure you can get rid of the hazard. If you get rid of the hazard now, it makes things a lot easier for GK moving forward in the future.
Reaper look for a rocket here. Nightmare and GK TPing out Mymone on the signature Sombra as Chronic is over to the Freya. We saw Chronic yesterday. Every single character that guy was playing, it was just world-star performances, honestly. The Cassidy, the Sojourn, and the Freya.
So I can tell you right now, the Reaper is potentially in response to the possibility that Cuppa could roll out on the Malgate, which he played extensively yesterday. Is that the Sombra coming in?
Oh,
he goes,
wait.
He's already dead, okay.
What? Yeah, Painkiller just got insta-booped off map. That's not a good start at all for Nightmare. That's a quick reset.
I was going to mention the Mymone Sombra, so I believe he actually picks up a 3k here. Rocket now moving over towards the Genji. Now that he sees that Malga is not going to be there, there's also not going to be a Winston. Given that there's a hazard ban, those could have been options for GK. Mymone wants to come through knowing that Chronic is absolutely going to be Freya, so he wants to be able to shut down the Freya Chronic straight away.
Rocket struggling to make an entrance here as Lethal's holding down the fort. Who good? Just the right-hand side. Mymone, here's the invis again as Lethal ends up going down on the high ground. Painkiller not wanting to dice with Admiral too much. He is on height currently. They do end up trading their hit scan players as Chronic also ends up falling, but still in control of the point is GK. Issues right now is arising that Nightmare, well, they're hacked up and still trapped in this spot, but they're just getting booped around and manual hacked from the side. It's been tough for Painkiller to make any space.
Getting ults though, Lucamino surviving here. Rush coming on in, UV can't respond, he's got the window.
Oh, yeah, and cover instantly explodes, so that window unable to be used by anybody on GK's side.
Now the fight likely to be over. Maybe a couple of cleanups here. GK's still holding on, but they've lost the point. Nightmare will be able to finish up the last few members. 50% is okay for GK, but not really enough of a lead to give you too much confidence right now as left. You do see a roughly 20% or 30% lead. That could be interesting moving forward.
I'm only 60% ult charge right now. It's farmed a little bit, but not quite as much as like Rocket has, who is now on the Genji. Leb just got hacked. Leb hacked, insta-killed there by Mymone. I imagine that was a virus connection on top of that. High noon for Lethal. Making the high ground play, scurry for cover as he moves in onto the points. Nice little spear, though, is going to cancel that high noon, but the annihilation from cover is going to push them forward. A Terror's Urge and a very early Suzu, in fact, from Lucamino. Lep does end up bandaging, triaging the wound, though, from that annihilation with that sound barrier. Doesn't hit Lucamino, but didn't need to.
Well, Amor doesn't have sound barrier, and that's the problem. He ends this one on 99. The team falls apart around him. Cuffer now swapping over towards, not just the Winston spawn tech, never mind it. Use the annihilation, gets a free swap to just be able to push on forward and lead. We're going back to, of course, the Ram. Now this time we're waiting for the EMP. There isn't going to be a sound barrier to save Nightmare from this EMP, so look out for it. It'll be a bit of a game changer.
Painkiller manually hacked. Virus misses.
That's an easy virus miss.
Yeah, it was very wide. Whoops, Daisy.
Okay.
Oh, it hit Painkiller. Don't worry, that wasn't a mem. It hit Painkiller, but it didn't do much, I'm going to be honest with you. Lamp ends up coming down, and in response to this blade is going to be the beat and the Lamp to save Ultraviolet. Rocket chased out of there, no dash reset to get out of the fight, so taken down by the sharpshooter in Lethal. There's going to be a rush from Lucamino to push themselves back onto the point. They still end up controlling as well, so this is going to be good. And Ultraviolet's window at a bit of an awkward angle. A disruptor shot on the high ground as Chronic takes him out with the railgun, but a 1v1 versus Lethal, you're losing that 9 times out of 10 on level playing field, as Nightmare lose the point at 96.
That's a disgusting challenge from Chronic as well. Just slides and jumps directly into UV, knowing the window's up and gets the kill anyway. Yes, they lose the fight, but those types of plays will give you confidence for the rest of the series, knowing that Chronic is very heated up. As Mymone swaps over to his own Genji now. I'm not really enjoying what I'm seeing out of that Sombra. Nice manual hack earlier, but EMP just not getting value.
Oh, Admiral. Wrong place, wrong time, buddy. High noon used by Lethal, gets taken out. Another nice jump shot there from the Sojourn, and well, this is a bit of a flat finish here for GK. Looking like row kill on tarmac as Nightmare roll over them in that last fight with the team kill and claim round 1.
We saw the teaser from Chronic in terms of what he was able to do in previous fights, but what will be the OC to just close the door on round number 1. And again for GK, the Sombra pick, you could see pressure onto Chronic's Freya. Chronic then swapping over towards the Soj. I'm just waiting to see what kind of value we get out of EMP. Only hitting the solo tank of Painkiller. I believe it was Suzu'd out straight away as well, because that EMP, that hack notification was gone like
almost
within a second. You could see that from his POV. It looks like Maimon wanted to go for the potential solo EMP onto the Lucio, onto Lep, but Lep just flies past him. I'm not too sure I would have agreed with that play anyway. So moving away from the Sombra, but as Chronic comes back onto the Freya, it's possible that Maimon, yeah, he reads it. He's saying, this is another good potential Freya map. We want to shut down the Freya. Let's play it one more time, because you know what else we're playing? It's the Bat straight away.
Okay. Well, Chronic, okay. Chronic and Lep just instantly die. All right, reset. And this has been the big question as well for Geeky. When are they pulling out this backline? And this seems like the perfect stage for it in City Center.
Well, it can work pretty well with the Winston, and the Hazard especially. So it's interesting that Cover's not on the Hazard. You would have expected that to come through. And Malga from Nightmare now. So they see the Winston. Rocket wanted to play the Reaper into either the Winston or maybe the Malga, something you can just shoot the shotguns into. But the PK Malga is the really interesting choice.
Ultraviolet stuck with one take aim, but doesn't take any additional supplemental shots there from Chronic. Manual hack onto Chronic, though, and Lethal and Maimon end up taking it down. One of the hard carries of Nightmare already. And this is the problem with this backline, Avril. It's nigh and unkillable sometimes. Actually get shield danced, get owned. Oh my.
We think on this map it should be much better, but the problem is I think Nightmare's comp isn't built to take down the BAP Lifeweaver. It's built to pressure out Cuffer on the Winston. So many heroes specifically to be able to do that. Cuffer's going to struggle on the Winston just given the entire frontline setup. However, there's no Tracer here. That's part of the reason why the Tracer ban actually works quite well for GK, is if you are to play the Beaver comp, Tracer and just flanking in general can get behind the Beaver comp and put the pressure on the backline, but when you can't access the backline at all, then GK can win by default.
Wait, we're calling it the Beaver comp now because of the tree? I like that.
Bat Weaver.
Bat Weaver,
yeah, I guess the tree works too, maybe.
Oh, wait, that does it. A double meaning. Oh, the tree. Well, it's dead. Almost instantly on that rush. Cover ends up getting caught out there, and like you said, is going to struggle in this matchup. A high ground window here for you, Ultraviolet, although saying that, sorry, it was on the low ground. It was just Ultraviolet assailed to the high ground to try and get out of there. Still, though, the Geeky are controlling the point, and now Cuffer is back close to this Primal Rage. They've lost their Sombra, so no EMP available for this fight, but it might not matter. This unkillable backline just refuses to die.
And it's very hard for Cuffer to die as well, because if the Grip is there available, then Cuffer's going to pop off. He's just going to primal into the backline, and caged up is a bit of a problem, but he's kind of safe at the moment. Oh, maybe not.
He still ends up killing Lucamino, though. All right, well, there's going to be the touch, at least for Nightmare. But the focus fire on Painkiller is going to be good, and EMP as well. Just rock the systems of Rocket and Painkiller. Maimo, now last player alive, has got that seed to play around with if he really wants, and is just going to try and stall up for some additional time. But yeah, can't stay around for long. Too many players of Nightmare on the point.
The big thing here as well, this might be his first sound barrier. He hasn't had the beat just yet. Would have been nice to play through. Certainly won't have it in time to do anything about the EMP, which already came in the previous fight. 99 setup for GK. And again, a very frontline focus, front to back type of composition for Nightmare, which should put the pressure on the Cuffer. But if Admiral's on point, you just have enough healing, you have enough bailout solutions. Okay, speaking of bailout solutions, there's one.
Easy. So the government bailout of the banks is just so easy, but it's so painful for the other side of things. Rocket ends up getting taken down by Maimo. Now Chronic trying to be the difference maker in this fight, but Lep ends up dying. That's Nightmare losing 2 players already.
This should be
and
round.
Once again, Geeky's backline refusing to die in the high ground, just taking out Chronic. Window on the point, and that'll be all she wrote there for City Center. Geeky, they're tying Oasis up.
Admiral even adding the damage in there with the Thorn Explosion perk, and really for Nightmare, I think they were a little bit too focused on saying, okay, we just want to kill this Winston, but they never really got him. Outside of the cage, being dropped in, Cuffer is just living, but we are going to Ruins, or not Ruins rather, onto University. I was thinking about Ilios. But here on Oasis, this is where the Freya is just going to have maybe limited utility given the lack of ability to take height. There's still reasonably high like ceilings on this map, so maybe Chronic will lock it in again, but you are just going to see more Sombra. My issue is into the Beaver comp, I think you need more flanking. I think you might want to look back towards the Genji. Tracer would have been nice. You may even start to consider your own Sombra, which despite it not destroying the tree or anything, that was patched out a long time ago. Just being able to access the backline is so important. But you're not going to see the life move back here, not in this round.
Hacking that mini too on this little room here on the side is going to be pretty crazy for both Lethal and Ultraviolet. Hard for Nightmare to wrap into that small corridor as well. That is a lot of extra supplemental healing. Of course, the health packs regenerate a lot quicker when they are hacked, so that healing output is a little while. Can't be underestimated. Cuffer ends up going Nemesis form there in the front line, and classic Mauga. Just the Mauga versus... Sorry, not the Mauga. The Ram versus the Orisa front lines. They're just so silly. It's just trading cooldowns, waiting for the DPS to do something, or the DPS in this case being Ultraviolet.
Tell you what, it's not as silly as Ram versus Ram mirrors where they're just both holding hands.
Yeah, just punching each other, yeah. It's so
well, not even punching each other, just both looking at each other, just blocking. You know?
Yeah, that is true.
That's my favorite.
Nice late kill there on Painkiller.
Which is what you expect. Lethal, this is why he chooses the cast, right? He understands that PK's best hero is going to be the Orisa. It's going to be a lot of Nightmare Orisa today, which means Lethal can come through, find massive value on the Cassidy. Most fights. Speaking of value, UV, first up on the window. Big lead onto Luke Mina.
So hard to step up here already. Look at how much damage Ultraviolet has done. He's already got the window. They're using the High Noon. Not letting go of that High Noon too early, though. Chronic still had the Deflect in his back pocket.
Yeah, Rocket was still in line of sight, deflecting away. PK spinning. Window.
But wait, Lucamino just got through the window. Cuppa landed that directly on his head. That Vortex. Nice stuff there from Cuppa, who says tanks can't aim. All right, Nightmare, they're struggling, man. Like, what's the game plan? Because Mymone has EMP.
It has to be tempo beat here, but again, you have to consider EMP. So how has Nightmare read this one? Do they believe that Mymone has EMP yet? Because if Mymone has EMP, Lep might want to hold this, but we're also looking for entry.
He's dead.
There it is, we have entry.
All right, Chronic. There's a railgun shot through the eyes. Now, Lep uses that sound barrier very close to Ajaxing there. Ends up running away, of course, from the Ramarcha, using that Annihilation. And here's Chronic, finally online with this overclock, takes down Avril. Should be a fairly easy flip there for Nightmare, but still 81%. And look at the ultimates for Geeky. They've still got EMP, and they got beaten 5.
Yeah, the EMP not being in that last fight, that was super important. The fact that Chronic got Mymone allows Lep to then use the sound barrier safely to counter out Cuffer. I say safely, again, he used it on low HP, but needed to come through, needed to land. And of course, for Nightmare, we asked the question, what is their entry game plan here? Chronic Go Kill is the card that they can still play.
Virus on to Painkiller. Terrasol still available. The extra lifeline. Although Painkiller ends up getting hacked, an EMP straight on to Rocket. Although it's already going to do too much, but it puts Painkiller in an awkward spot. Manually hacked, then EMP, I believe, did connect as well. So GK using a whole bunch of their ults in that fight. 2 critical ones, that beat and that EMP, but they're getting the flip like this, and a team kill puts Nightmare on final fight.
It's an insane timing as well, because you see that Rocket wanted to go for the blade, setting up with Painkiller on his Terror Surge, but as soon as he gets hacked, then he's low HP after the EMP, his team's already starting to fall apart, so just too difficult. Now it's coming down to Luke Meter, Rush and Blade.
Blade, UV's already dead, Lethal alone there, ends up missing the nade. As Rocket just swinging at air right now, but still managed to land a couple of slashes on to Cuffer. Mymone takes out Lep, so only one support available for Nightmare, but GK know without Ultraviolet, they cannot stay in this fight too long. UV will come back in a couple of moments, and they might be able to get a free flip here, but Nightmare, they're at 54%. They just need to hold on. Mymone down, Lep gets revenge, as GK decide maybe better at this fight and go for one more.
Yeah, well, they have ultimates coming back in Annihilation. Look at the timing here as well. Cuffer's got Annihilation, and Lep does not have anything to counter. It's going to come down to Chronic trying to either find an early first pick or finding this OC. You always can count on Chronic to do something. However, what else can Nightmare help him with? What else can Nightmare bring to the table?
Uh-oh. What? Wait. What? Excuse me? Excuse me? Lethal? Yeah, okay, he just kills the backline. Oh, yeah, sharpshooter. My word, how does that happen? Just triple taps the backline and that's it. That's map. Geeky off the back of Lethal's Cassidy, no less. Ends up taking the first map.
Nightmare just